Hi, Sandy.
Hi, it's Dave, and there is no Kirk today. I'm not going to do a silly voice to say he's not here. Unfortunately, he's unable to join us on the stream as we do have jobs other than A.D.K because it'd be lovely to do A.D.K for paid work, but we'd actually need to earn money to do that. But today we want to talk about some of the latest news that's really dropped. It did drop a few days ago, but it's the first chance we've had to talk about it, and it's to talk about My Dying Bride. So, because as far as I was aware, Andy, My Dying Bride was basically had gone on hiatus. It was put on the back burner because we'd seen that Aaron Stainthorpe had gone off to do, was it High Parasite?
That's his other project, yeah.
Which he'd launched this project out of nowhere. We knew that they were on a bit of a break. So they can't literally in early 2024, they had tours and stuff with Paradise Lost, I think it was, that they were planning to do. And then suddenly all these tours got cancelled, all the shows got cancelled, and then there was some sort of disagreement within the band, and it was almost like, right, the band's just going to go on hiatus for a moment while we sort it all out. And then High Parasite came out of nowhere. And then there's this announcement 3 days ago to say that My Dying Bride are going to be touring next year, but not with Aaron Stainthorpe in it. What's the details? What's the skimmy on this?
I'm just sort of referring back to the original announcement, which is in lacking of content and sort of real firm details, as was the one that I announced sort of earlier this year regarding the imposed hiatus. You know, everybody was speculating, have Andrew and Aaron fallen out? Is Aaron ill? Was it family issues? There's lots of speculation, and I think it sort of turned out that they basically just needed a break from each other because this is news to me. All the management side of running the band, the promotion, T-shirt designs, they do it between themselves, and it was just getting a little bit too much. So, on the eve of the new album being released and an imminent tour, they decided to sort of step away from live shows for the rest of 2024. 3 days ago they announced that after a small hiatus, they'll be returning to live shows with a very special guest on vocals, and it's a chap called Miko Kotomaki from Swallow the Sun.
Okay.
They've only just announced sort of one festival in Hungary is it May or March next year? Or is it July? I don't know how Europeans write their dates. I think it's July next year, one date. Further announcements will follow and give a warm welcome to Miko. So me and probably thousands of fans are a little surprised by this because it's almost like there's some sort of record company obligation to fulfill some live shows. Or alternatively, it may well be that the rest of them need to generate some income because I don't think My Dying Bride brings enough income to be a professional band. So they've obviously decided to draft this fella in and do some live shows, starting with this Hungarian sort of festival. Now, I do know Miko because I have a couple of Swallow the Sun albums, and I actually checked out a live track earlier today just to see what his sort of stage performance was like. And on record, yes, he's got the sort of doom metal delivery. There's sort of the sort of softly spoken word parts. He can sing clean, and he's got a great growl. And the live track that I saw, which I think is called Stone Wings, something like that, he employed all three of those techniques, and it did sound really good. And I sort of came to the conclusion that he's probably under the circumstances, a sort of fairly good choice, really good choice to sort of stand in for Aaron on these live shows, or one at the moment, which may come from more. But just like I said, like the original announcement about the hiatus, it's just open to speculation. People are thinking, is that it for Aaron? Is it literally just this one show?
Because that's the question. It doesn't really sort of go in there. Because obviously, I was reading the announcement from it, and it sort of says when they were saying they were at loggerheads, and it said the team came to the decision that they'd take a break before they had a massive bust up, even though it was a rubbish time considering the album was just coming out. But everyone else in the band was like, you two take your breathers, etc. But it's a bad time to do it. So it sounds like the band then kind of now made that decision. Look, we've got an album here. We've got to tour it. We've got to get out there and promote it because it's silly to do it otherwise. So the question then has to be is Aaron okay with it? Because that's the thing that's not really clear. Because if Aaron went, I'm actually okay with that. I'm okay with you taking another singer out on the tour while I do High Parasite. I've got no issue with that. Because also, if the way that they've structured My Dying Bride with them being the founding members means that every time they go and play a show, he gets a percentage cut of it as a founding member. So it doesn't matter if he's there alive, he still gets. It makes sense for him to continue touring it because any money they do make, he still gets a percentage of that as a founding member. So he will, even if he's not even doing the shows, he will still make money off of that. So it does make sense, obviously, and I suppose it might give him a chance to get the passion back for the My Dying Bride format because seeing someone else singing his songs.
Yeah.
And if he does good, I mean, the worry is if he does a great job, they could just fall out replace him. But if he does an okay job, he might go, I've got to come back and show it how it's done, which I guess is what how you would prefer it to be.
Yeah. I mean, I've got two things to sort of add following what you've just said. Yeah, this guy, you know, on record is absolutely amazing, and I really thought he smashed it on this live track that I saw from a recent festival. But Aaron performing the My Dying Bride tracks live, his lyrics, he goes into character. He distances himself from everything else. He just portrays the misery and the forlorn emotions that the character, which most of the songs center around, he performs that to the crowd with his sort of vocal delivery and just physical performance, and it's almost like acting. He's almost like performing in a play. It's absolutely brilliant. You know, now whether, I mean, no disrespect to the Swallow the Song tracks, they might not have that same sort of depth of content, but what I saw, Miko just sort of delivered the track in sort of normal metal vocalist style. You know, there wasn't the theatrical performance. So whether he'll try and incorporate some of Aaron's style into the My Dying Bride set, or whether it'll just be as he would perform Swallow the Sun songs, I don't know. So I was saying that. And just another point, as I said, the announcement wasn't particularly great, wasn't particularly well worded, was lacking a lot of detail. And somebody from one of them, you know, the many comments I read from one of the Facebook groups said, this is what they should have done. Make a statement. We want to go on tour. Aaron is on a break, or maybe clashing with High Parasite activity. We're going to do a few gigs in 2025. It'll be good. And then another follow-up announcement introducing the guest vocalist, and then just further info about what's involved, whether it is just this one show, whether it's a run of shows throughout 2025, and Aaron will be joining the band later in 2025. You know, there's just so much sort of questions still yet to be answered.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because it's one of those ones that if a band had gone out on tour, and we've seen it many times where people have either stepped away from bands, or whether it's a drummer, whether it's a guitarist, bass player and stuff, and gone back out on tour, and you don't bat an eyelid unless it's something like a virtuoso, which I've never really, I don't think I've ever really noticed anyone like a virtuoso. It'd be like Van Halen going out without Eddie Van Halen, for instance, on tour. You'd be like, well, that doesn't work. That doesn't make sense.
Another example was something that doesn't work that came to my mind. Sort of spiritual healing era Death, American legendary death metal band. Chuck Schuldiner, as often happens, sort of had disagreements with his bandmates, but Bill Andrews and Terry Butler, and I can't remember else who came out on the tour. Basically, they flew to Europe and done a load of shows as Death without Chuck Schuldiner,
right?
Which is
doesn't make sense.
Comparable to what the situation we've got now with My Dying Bride.
Because in comparison, I'm just sort of thinking, we did that video the other week. I'm just trying to find the notes for it. We made it down. We've only just been talking about this guy. One that basically got rid of all of his bandmates.
As I Lie Dying?
As I Lie Dying. So literally the entire band's gone, but he goes out as I Lie Dying. And people will accept that because it's the singer.
Yeah.
Because if Aaron Stainthorpe had gone out and gone My Dying Bride with just him, people have gone, okay, it's the singer. It's not quite the same, but But the singer is such a key ingredient to a band that if you change that one ingredient, it can make such a difference. Look at Skid Row. Skid Row, that's been going for years, has had multiple singers, and they still go on about Sebastian Bach.
Yeah.
And why is he not in the band? Even though he's actually not that good a singer anymore. But they're like, it's the classic lineup. It's the original lineup, the best album. Why won't you bring him back? He's still going, and he's going out doing his own versions of the Skid Row song. So
you say about that As I Lie Dying. Is it called Tim somebody?
Tim Lambesis.
Yeah, there's somebody jokingly said, well, more than one person in various groups said something about, we'll bring him on board, and it can be As I Lay My Dying Bride or something. You know.
As I lay my dying bride down.
People then chipping in with different variations and combinations of those two band names with this Tim guy.
Yeah, Tim involved. It could be interesting. Wrong sort of genre, but fair enough. I don't know. We'll be interested to see what happens with this, and I'd like to know what Aaron Stainthorpe's steer is on this, because if he's happy with it, then I'd be all right with it. If that's what he wants, if he's like, I'm happy with them to go out and tour it for a year while I do High Parasite, and then everyone will be like, okay, cool, let's go watch this version of My Dying Bride then.
If that was part of the announcement and the statement from the band, then so it answered a lot of questions and settled a lot of people's fears, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but then there'd be no video to do.
Yeah.
All these people doing videos would be like, shit, there's actually nothing for us to talk about. But let us know what you think in the comments down below. What do you think about this whole My Dying Bride going out without Aaron Stainthorpe? We will see you on the video sometime very soon. Take care.